Intervention time. This intervention is not something you think. I'm pretty sure you cannot guess it. But let's do this. So my teachers call me, they're like, we need to talk to you. So among my teachers, I mean a few of my teachers, I'm in grade 10 that time, a few of my teachers. And when they call me, they're like, what's actually going on at home? What's happening? What is it that's happening and how can we help? Me being under the impression that I'm an I can tell them anything. I tell them exactly what I told you, I tell them the whole thing. One of my teachers that actually, I was her pet, so to speak, being a pet here, I would always be around her. She was my computer applications technology teacher at grade 10, so she had a really soft spot for me, and she's like, we can't allow this to happen to you. I'm actually going to ask one of the school counselor to sit down, akhulume nawe, and then after that, I need to see you so that we can discuss how I can help, how I can best assist in the situation. Like, okay. And I was excused from school for the rest of the day because I had to talk to the counselor. We spoke, not going to get into much detail around that. But I remember her saying something along the lines of depression that time. And anger, so she gave me this 32-page book that I had to write everything down, whatever I was feeling, what was causing these feelings and all that stuff. I remember writing that 32-page down and finishing it in, I think, 2 nights or 1 night, if I'm not mistaken. Then brought it back to home. This wasn't a very big book. And I have very small handwriting, so I was able to fill that up because I didn't do anything else, because I started writing at school. So by the time I went home, I had already gone to maybe half the book, So I wrote that and I finished and I gave it to her. She's like, no, I don't want it. I need you to take this book and burn it. Yeah, this is not for me to keep. I can read it if you want me to, but I want you to burn it. This was for your healing. This when I started understanding some things. It's okay. Maybe this depression term that she used, maybe I am depressed, but I didn't really understand, Yeah. And so I go back to my cat teacher, and then I'm like, okay, I spoke to the counselor, She's like, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start bringing you lunch to school, right? And if she wasn't the only one who did that, she had 2 or 3 other teachers who had said, yeah, they're gonna take turns every week. It's gonna be someone to stay and this day and this day and this day, and they would give me maybe 5 friends for the second break so that I can just buy snacks or whatever, So they started helping me there. That's when my teachers now from grade 10 started giving me lunch to school, And I think this happened until I was in grade 11, late in grade 11. It only stopped when I was in grade 12 or something. So no, they don't know that I have this help from schooling, but they do know Uguti. I'm now rebellious towards them. And the reason I'm rebellious towards them is because my teacher in grade 10 had said to me, I'm actually considering adopting you. I need you to take this letter. She gave me a letter. She said, give it to your grandmother, your guardian. Have them read it. If they want this to happen, them sign it. And then I will continue with the rest. And my grandmother said no to that. I'm her child. Basically, I'm her child. You can't be adopted by someone we don't know. How can you trust this person? Reasons to me that, I couldn't have said anything else beyond that, So I had to accept that. Be like, okay, life goes on. Life went on. And at this point, my school teachers had actually helped me get some of my uniform. And I was actually trying to do things in Lokshin, to somehow help myself in terms of uniform, services, because I remember I bought myself my first pullover, the Mali suite, because I started selling suite at school. And for me to start doing that, I had to ask permission from one of the tuck shop teachers, because they also had a tuck shop course. So I had to ask them for permission. And when they asked why I wanted to do that, I explained to them. They're like, okay, you're a well-behaved kid, you're not doing any of this because of any malicious reasons or anything like that. They were like, okay. No.
So when you came home with this pullover,
I'm sure it was Buzile, but she never asked me. She never asked me about it. And also, by this time, I was a very angry, quiet, keep to myself kind of kid, England, They had been saying I should be on a fast. Now I had made the conscious decision to say I'm not going to eat ekaya anymore, because clearly they don't want to give me food, right? So I don't have to eat there. So how did I eat now? So I have an older cousin, right, and a younger cousin, and my older brother at this point was still in varsity. He wasn't back yet. So when all these things are happening, obviously my younger cousin is not going to notice. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. I'm not saying he didn't notice or he did notice, but the person that I know for sure noticed was my older cousin. Ekaya, when I was in grade 9, I think, or grade 8, this whole thing of we're going to dish up for everyone and everyone has their plate of food, that's something that wasn't happening in Ekaya anymore. Each person was going to dish up for themselves. Ukoko would dish up for herself and her lunchbox was for work, and then she would dish up for my uncle and his lunchbox, and then the rest of us would have to dish up for ourselves on whatever was left. So most of the time, by the time everyone had dished up, I wouldn't have enough, or there wouldn't be anything at all left out for me, So that's how also I started going. And then my older cousin, when he noticed whenever he would go and dish up for himself, he'd be like, there isn't enough. He would leave some of his food for me. If he wouldn't give it to me, I'm gonna buy a or something, give it right, because he was a bit older. So I started connecting with him more. We started getting closer and closer with him more. So when I wouldn't be home to eat, I would tell him, don't buy a somewhere. Like I would eat at a neighbor, And then I started visiting my neighbors, like almost every night, almost every day. And to a point where they even said, if I'm not there to eat supper with them, they'd be like, what did we do? Did we give you something that you didn't enjoy? So they kind of started feeling offended if I didn't go and have lunch and have supper with them. So I would say. And omakhelwane bangasekhaya would see I'm no longer the same happy, jolly, helping with plastics kind of kid. Whenever I'm going to look, I'm going to my earphone and I'm walking, I'm pissed. I don't want anyone to talk to me. At some point, even if people would talk to me, I would just look at you and not say anything and continue with my life. So I started getting angry around that point. And the anger, I needed somewhere and somehow to release. And at this point in time, I'm not playing soccer anymore. Because remember, when I'm hungry, when I'm taking a fast and all these things. So Coach Ahmed said, I can't deal with energy. Has a grounding, blah, blah, blah. So I had to stop playing soccer already. I stopped playing soccer. I was failing at school. My life was just going different directions, So I was angry at all of that. So eventually I did get to matric, and I did pass matric. I wouldn't say I passed my matric as well as I wanted, but I did get a bachelor's pass and an A in Zulu. So Zulu was a first additional language anyway, but an A is an A. A distinction is a distinction. And I got a bachelor's pass for that. And my grandmother had been paying for my school fees, of course, and I don't think it was a lot even. I think it was like 1,000 rand, 1,200 per year at that point or something like that, or even less than that. I don't even remember. But I go through And at that point, Valley, I was like, you have no choice. You want me to finish school. You have no choice but to pay for my school fees. Anything else, I was pretty much doing it for myself. After high school, I told my grandmother that I want to take a gap year. I need to think about what I'm doing, what I'm going to do. And she was like, okay, it's fine. You can take a gap year, but I don't like the idea, you know. And then I said, okay, well, let me just enroll at a college, okay? Just begin the IT. I will see, because I loved computers. I was doing computer application technology in high school. So I loved computers. I was like, okay, if I'm going to do anything post-matric, it has to have something that has to do with computer. Or it has to be a geography related, because I enjoyed computer and geography. I did technical drawing as well. So I also enjoyed that, but I knew I didn't have physics, so I wouldn't go into architecture studies and all that stuff because I didn't have physics. So I was like, okay, let me just go into IT instead. So I went, I tried. Programming was difficult my first year, so I was like, this is not for me, you know, and I dropped out. So when I dropped out, I was like, okay, following year, let me upgrade my matric, because I felt like I didn't pass well enough, you know. I wanted to have at least a B for geography, and I wanted to get at least an A for maths literacy, because I failed. I had gotten a B. So I wanted to get, you know, a better mark. So I tell her, I'm like, okay, I want to upgrade, you know, and upgrade the one is because I want to do this course in KZN. I want to do geography and environmental management at KZN. And so she was like, okay, go for it. Go and register. And then I registered, and then Imalia Kona, I don't remember how much it was, but it wasn't a lot as well. She was able to manage that, the transport to get, you know. So yeah, ungisile nje esikoleni ngafunda, and then I didn't get the marks that I wanted, you know. Instead of passing, I think minutes later I actually dropped. So I was like, nah, it's fine. But in geography, I did get a better mark. And then when I went to UKZN the following year, they said, why did you waste your time upgrading? Because these marks got you a good entry into this, you know. Like, I didn't need to upgrade. I didn't need to waste those 2 years. And at that point, I think I'm 20 or 21, going to start my first year in 2015. 2015, I get accepted for this course in geography and environmental management. You know, varsity life, difficulties here and there, you know, it's difficult in uni. Fast forward, 2017 should have been the final year, right? Should have been my third year. And I hadn't passed all my modules from first year, second year, and third year. So I needed 4 more modules, two first semester modules, and one first semester modules and one second semester module to be able to complete my degree. And so I was like, came up short. 2018, I need to go back. 2018, I don't have financial aid anymore, because 2016 I got financial aid. Don't have financial aid anymore. I need to go back home and I need to travel. So then my problem started, you know, because now it's a year that she hadn't budgeted for, but I would still be in school. But she had to, you know, assist me here and there. And I also had a friend now, a few houses away from Mikai, who was also going to school with me, because as Funda something similar. So Masfigada, Siafunda Grendi, and he would take me to school and back, you know, whenever he went to school. That's when I started going to the gym now. Going to the gym. So I started going to the gym, Gashi, 2018. You know, I had terrible breakup earlier on in the year. Things were not well, you know, and drama as a kaya and all that stuff. It was getting too much. I was super angry, frustrated at the fact that I didn't finish my degree at the time that I wanted to. All my friends that I had been with are now away from me, so now I had to find new friends to, you know, to have confidence with, you know, abantenzo kuluma nabo and understand me and all these things and this and the other. So I had that problem now. And then came that fateful day in October of 2018. I think it was a week before I had to write my final exam for my degree. Then I took corrosive detergent or cleaning detergent or something like that. I drank it, and there was the turning point that brought me to where I am today. There was the day I decided that I don't want to live anymore. There was the day I tried to take my life. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that in the next episode.